"15 years ago, my sister vanished without a trace. No body, no evidence, just gone. We held vigils, searched the woods, plastered her face on every missing poster. My parents died never knowing what happened. And then, last week, the phone rang. It was her voice. The same tone, the same little laugh at the end of her sentences. She said she was coming home, and when she arrived, she looked exactly like my sister. Except she hasn't aged a single day. At first I thought it was a miracle, but the longer she stayed, the more I realized whatever came back, it isn't my sister." I was sitting in my kitchen scrolling through my phone when the landline rang. Nobody calls that phone anymore. Not since Mom passed away. I almost didn't answer, but I did. On the other end, I heard breathing, then a voice. A voice I knew instantly. "It's me. It's Anna." My blood ran cold. Anna was my sister, the one who went missing when I was just a teenager. I could barely speak. My hands shook as I whispered, "Where are you?" Her reply made my stomach twist. "I'm home. I've been home this whole time." The next day, I drove to my parents' old house. The place had been empty since Dad moved into assisted living. Nobody had lived there for years. Windows dusty, the lawn overgrown, mailbox stuffed with old flyers. But when I pulled into the driveway, there was a light on in the upstairs bedroom. I froze. That room was Anna's. I unlocked the front door, the hinges groaning as if they hadn't been moved in a lifetime. The air inside smelled stale like damp wood and dust. My footsteps echoed through the hall as I called out, "Anna." And then I heard it, soft, deliberate footsteps coming down the stairs. When she appeared, I almost collapsed. It was her. Same brown hair, same nervous smile. But she hadn't aged a single day, not one. She smiled at me like nothing had happened, like 15 years hadn't passed. "You came," she whispered, her voice calm but thin. I couldn't stop staring. She was exactly as I remembered. 17 years old, her skin smooth, her eyes bright. "Anna, where have you been? We thought you were dead. The police, the search teams." Her eyes darted away for the briefest second. Then she shook her head. "It's complicated. I can't really explain it. That wasn't enough." I pressed harder, my voice breaking. "You disappeared, Anna. 15 years. You missed Dad's heart attack, Mom's funeral. Do you understand what you've put us through?" She didn't flinch. Instead, she stepped forward and touched my hand, cold, unnatural. Cold. "I'm here now. That's what matters." But something inside me screamed that this wasn't right. Her grip was too strong, her stare too steady, her smile held too long. And when I asked her where she had been all these years, she said something that chilled me to the bone. I was home the whole time. But I knew that wasn't true. I had been in that house tearing it apart for years, hoping for answers. So where, exactly, had she really been? I tried to keep calm, but every second with her made my skin crawl. "If you've been here, then prove it," I said. "Tell me something only Anna would know." She smiled like she'd been waiting for that. "Easy. Your favorite hiding spot was under the porch. You used to stash comic books there, so Mom wouldn't find them." I froze. That was true, too true. But then she kept going. "And you always cried yourself to sleep when Dad yelled at Mom." My heart stopped. That never happened. Dad never yelled, ever. "Anna," I whispered, "what are you talking about?" Her face shifted, just for a second, like she realized she'd said too much, but instead of backtracking, she leaned closer, her voice flat. "Maybe you're the one who doesn't remember right." The room seemed to shrink. I could hear the clock ticking in the kitchen louder and louder, like it was inside my head. She wasn't just wrong, she was rewriting our past detail by detail as if she believed it herself. And then came the part that made my blood run cold. She looked me straight in the eye and said, "You should stop asking questions. You won't like the answers." I couldn't sleep that night. Every word she'd said was echoing in my head. The next morning, I went to check her room. The door was half open. She was sitting at the desk, facing away from me, her hair falling in front of her face. I thought she was writing, but when I stepped closer, I realized she was drawing. Hundreds of pages, each one filled with the same thing. Our house, from every angle perfectly detailed, down to the smallest crack in the wall. But there was one problem. Some of the drawings showed things that didn't exist. Extra doors, a hallway that wasn't there, rooms that shouldn't exist. "Anna," I whispered. She turned, startled. Her hand slipped across the paper. That's when I saw it. Her left hand. Anna was right-handed. Always had been. She couldn't even eat cereal with her left hand without spilling. But this... His girl had been sketching effortlessly with her left hand, pages stacked high like it was second nature. She noticed me staring and quickly shoved the papers aside. "Old habit," she said with a smile. But it wasn't. I knew it wasn't. And for the first time since she came back, I thought, this might not be my sister at all. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about her hand, so I decided to test her. When we were kids, Anna had a scar just under her knee. A bike accident, she'd fallen on the gravel and cried for hours. I remembered it clearly. It was deep, jagged, impossible to miss. The next morning, I asked her if she wanted to go for a walk. She agreed, and as we were leaving, she stumbled on the front step. Her jeans tore at the knee. I froze. No scar, smooth, unmarked skin. "Are you okay?" I asked, trying to sound normal. She nodded, brushing herself off. "Yeah, of course." But my heart was pounding. When she went to the bathroom, I pulled out one of her old photo albums. There it was, Anna grinning with her leg up on the couch, bandage wrapped around her knee. The scar had been real. It had been there. But whoever this was didn't have it. And when she came back into the room, she caught me staring at her knee. Her smile froze. For a moment, she didn't move, just watched me like a cat watching prey. Then she said slowly, "You're looking for something that isn't there anymore." And that was the first time her voice didn't sound like Anna's at all. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. Her words kept circling in my head. "You're looking for something that isn't there anymore." By morning, I decided to push her. But carefully over breakfast, I asked, "Hey, remember Mrs. Doyle? Our neighbor with the big orange cat?" She looked up from her coffee. "Yeah. Mr. Whiskers died in the fire, right? That was wrong." Mr. Whiskers had run away 3 years before the fire ever happened. Only I knew that detail because I was the one who'd found the open window. I tried again. "And what about Dad's old toolbox? Remember the one he kept under the stairs?" She smiled faintly. "Blue one, rusted handle. Still there, isn't it?" I nearly dropped my spoon. The toolbox had been red, always red. Her answers weren't random. They were close, too close, like someone had studied our lives. But got the fine details blurred. Later, while she folded laundry in the living room, I noticed something else. Her phone. I'd seen her scrolling late at night, too quick, too focused. So when she left it unattended, I grabbed it. No lock, no photos, no messages, just a single folder labeled Home. My hand shook as I opened it. Inside were pictures, hundreds of them. Not old family photos. Recent ones, photos of me sleeping, eating, sitting in the kitchen at night, all taken within the last 2 weeks. And when I heard her footsteps returning down the hall, I didn't have time to put the phone back. She saw me holding the phone. Her face didn't change. No shock, no panic, just a calm smile like she'd been waiting for me to find it. "You weren't supposed to see that," she said softly. I backed away, my throat dry. "What are you?" She tilted her head. I'm your sister. I told you. I came home." "No," I whispered. "My sister's gone." Her smile faded. She set the laundry basket down and stepped closer. "Listen, I know the details are messy. I know I don't have it all right, but I remember you, and I came back because you needed me. You were alone. I wanted to scream to run, but something in her voice froze me. Then came the sound. We both turned. 3 sharp knocks. She tensed. Her face hardened. "Don't open it," she said quickly. "Why?" I asked. She stared at me, her eyes almost pleading. "Because if you let them in, you'll know for sure I'm not your sister. And once you know, you'll never be safe again." The door rattled in its frame. I stood frozen between her and the entrance, my heart pounding, and then the voice came, a woman's voice, muffled but clear. "It's me. Please open up. It's your sister. I finally found my way home." I turned back to the woman in the living room. She wasn't smiling anymore. She just whispered, "Don't believe her.